Please believe house. Oh, today we're going to do a review for your test tomorrow over factoring and over quadratics. And it is going to be F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. So let's get rocking and rolling. And a magical whiteboard appears. And let's start doing this review. This will be for grade. I'm going to do a little bit less than half of it. Let you finish the other half up. Okay, do real good. Keep believing in yourself. You can do this. Make sure you're using the calculator. The calculator is a big help on here. Okay, I'm going to zoom into number one. We want to factor out the GCF. Remember, basically when we do this problem, we're undoing the distributive property. So look at the smallest letter in the problem, our smallest number. The smallest number is 60. 60 won't go into 150, but take half of the smallest number. Half of the if it's even, half of the smallest number, 60, is 30, and 30 goes into 150, doesn't it? So I know that my GCF is going to be 30, and then they both have x, and the smallest exponent is a 1. So I'm just going to go ahead and put those 1 exponents in there to make the math easier. Now then, I'm going to divide twice by 30x, and then write down what my answer is. So this 30x turns into what's called, that's your GCF. Remember, we call that the bluebell truck. That's what we distribute with, right? Then we're going to divide, do sign, number, letter, exponent, and subtract the exponents when you divide. So 150 divided by 30 is 5. The letter is x. 2 minus 1 is 1, and we don't put the 1, do we? So 150x squared divided by 30x is just 5x. Then start the process over. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. 60 divided by 30 is 2. And the x's will divide out to 1. They'll cancel out to 1, won't they? So this right here is my answer. If I were to do the distributive property and distribute 30x to 5x and 2, I would get 150x squared minus 60x. So basically, I'm undoing the distributive property, and the GCF turns into that bluebell truck, which is what you distributed. Fun, 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 fun. Going to let you do part B on your own. Let's go to C. The smallest number here is 4, and 4 goes into 28, doesn't it? So I know I'm going to divide both sides by 4, and my smallest exponent is 1. So I'm going to divide everything by 4x1. So the 4x1 turns into the bluebell truck, or just the 4x. You don't put an exponent of 1. Now we're going to divide and do sign, number, letter, exponent. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. I don't put the 1. The letter is x. 3 minus 1 is 2. Sign, number, letter, exponent. Start all over. Negative divided by a positive is a negative. 28 divided by 4 is 7. And the x's will divide out to 1. So this right here would be my answer. Piece of cake. That's what dividing by the GCF looks like. Let's keep rocking and rolling. This number 7 is probably the hardest thing you did in this class this year. Once you do it enough, it gets easy, okay? So on this one right here, I want the factors of 12 that add up and give me 8. So I'm just going to go over here and write down 12. Now then, on your calculator, and I'm only going to do this once, if I were to go to graph and hit 12 divided by x and hit enter and then hit Control T, I get the factors of 12 done. Okay, in that table, I would get my factors of 12. Now then, I'm kind of like I can write down the factors without the calculator because I got more power. So the factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. Okay, now then, which one of those adds up to 8? It's the 2 and the 6, doesn't it? So I'm going to write down 6 and 2. Put the parentheses here. Write down 6x and 2, and I'm going to add to get those, and then put x on the bottom, right? The opposite of multiply is divide, and I can multiply x times x to get that x squared. Okay, so these right here will turn into the parentheses. So x plus 6 and x plus 2 will be those factors, okay? Another way to do that, this sign always drops and put the biggest number first. And then you got to do 6 plus 2 to get your 8, okay? This is not easy. You got to go back and do those lessons again if this is giving you trouble, okay? Letter C. Okay, on this one right here, I cannot take out a GCF, so I got to take this 4 and 7 and multiply, and I'm going to get 28. Now then, the factors of 28 are 1 and 28, 2 and 14, and 4 and 7. I want to subtract and get 3, don't I? Subtract and get 3. Okay, so if I subtract and get 3, I'm going to use the 7 and 4, aren't I? So I'm going to put the 7 first and the 4 second, and then this sign always goes to the biggest number. So I have my plus 7, and then I'm going to put a negative 4, and then underneath here I'm going to put 4x and 4x. This won't simplify, but this one will. Divide by 4, and I'll get negative 1 over x. This right here will be a factor, and this will be a factor. Notice 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. 4x times x is 4x squared. So my answer is going to be 4x plus 7 and x minus 1. And remember, these are called factors, right? Your test base just want one of those factors, and you can put the factors in any order, okay? Not an easy lesson to do. You got to go back and watch, okay? And then let's do letter D. Letter D, there's no bx term, okay? That middle term's gone. And notice these are both perfect square roots, aren't they? If they're both perfect square roots, it's going to be a difference of squares. So the square root of 16x squared is 4x. So I'm going to put 4x and 4x. The square root of 89 or 81 is 9. And then one side's positive and one side's negative. If I were to go back and do my multiplying here, I would get plus 36x minus 36x. And that middle term would cancel out, right? 4x times 4x is 16x squared, and then 9 times negative 9 is the minus 81. So if I multiply this out, I get 16x squared minus 81. Oh, and then let's keep going. This is so much fun. Okay, right here, you're going to have to get the area of a rectangle. Remember, to get the area of a rectangle, you multiply the length times the width, or the base times the height. So I have 4x minus 5 and 2x plus 4. Lots of ways to do this. I like drawing arches to show the full. So we're going to do 4x minus 5 times 2x plus 4. And I'm going to draw 2 arches and then draw 3 blanks. F, first, outside, inside, last. First, last, right? So my first terms are 4x and 2x. I'm going to multiply those together. 4x times 2x is 8x squared. My last terms are negative 5 and positive 4. Negative 5 times positive 4 is a negative 20. Then I'm going to do my arches. Negative 5 times 2 is a negative 10x. And 4 times 4 is a plus 16x. Negative 10 plus 16 is a plus 6x. This right here would be my answer, okay? Oh, make sure you can do this. Basically, y'all listen, you are multiplying 1, 2, 3, 4 times. You got to multiply 4 times, then you add or subtract the outside and the inside. Multiply 4 times, add or subtract the outside and inside. Let's go down to here. Okay, let's draw the arches. And then draw the 3 blanks. First, outside, inside, last. First, last. My first terms are 3x and x. 3x times x is 3x squared. Then my last terms are negative y and plus 2y. A negative times a positive is a negative. The number is 2. The letter is y. Y times y is y squared. Just sign, number, letter, exponent. Now then I'm going to do my arches. Negative y times x is a negative 1xy. I'm going to put the 1, so I add or subtract it. 3x times 2y is a plus 6xy. So now then I'm going to add or subtract my middle terms, right? Negative 1x plus 6y is a plus 5xy. So remember, I multiplied, then I added or subtracted. Once you get the hang of it, it's not that hard, okay? And the numbers are real small. They won't get big. So the arithmetic will be pretty easy. Let's go to the back page. Let's find the area of this rectangle. A lot of multiplying and factoring on this test. Make sure you do it. Write down 2x plus 7, parentheses x minus 2. We're going to multiply that. Draw your rainbow arches. Draw your 3 blanks. First, outside, inside, last. So first, last, 2x times x is 2x squared. Plus 7 times negative 2 is a negative 14. Plus 7 times x is a plus 7x. 2x times negative 2 is a negative 4x. And 7x minus 4x would be plus 3x. This right here would be the answer, okay? If I factored that, I would go back up to the problem, okay? Piece of cake. Okay, now then on this part, we don't need the calculator for here. We could get all these answers. Okay, the vertex. Which one of these letters is the vertex? It's this point right here in it. The top or bottom is your vertex, okay? So the vertex is letter C, and it's going to be negative 2, comma, negative 3. Okay, the negative 2 is going to turn into your axis of symmetry, and the negative 3 is going to be your max or min. Every single time. Okay, so the vertex has the axis of symmetry, which is a line that folds a parabola in half. And the y-coordinate of the vertex is either going to be the top or the bottom, which is your max or min. Okay, the zeros are going to be A and B. The zeros are the x-intercepts, okay? And they're right at what? 4.5? It's like right between them at 0.5. So A is a 0, which will be about, let's see, negative 4.5, comma 0. If you input negative 4.5, you output 0. B would be a 0, and it would be right at 0.5, comma 0, right? Lastly, the y-intercept is going to be D. Okay? Which means I'm going to stay in the middle and go down. It's going to be 0, negative 1. Oh, that's going to be my y-intercept. Now then, I'm going to do 2 more on the calculator with you. Okay? So this one right here, we want to graph the calculator and get the vertex. So we're going to graph the calculator and graph sketch to the vertex, okay? So I want to graph x squared minus 2x minus 3. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I got a table. I'm going to hit Control-T to get rid of it. Then delete, delete, delete. Think of something bad? Delete, delete, delete. That gets rid of all the graphs. Then hit Tab. If you don't hit Tab, do y'all see where it says F1X? If it doesn't say that, when you hit Tab, hit the Escape button, then hit Menu, Graph, Function. Now then, every time you hit Tab, you'll get a function, okay? And then we want to graph x squared minus 2x minus 3. So x squared minus 2x minus 3, hit Enter, and bam, I got my graph. My vertex is at the bottom in it. So I need to graph, trace, and find that vertex. And it's going to say max or min. This will be a minimum because it's the bottom. So I'm going to do Menu. Where does it say trace? It says trace at 5. And then I'm going to hit 1. And then I'm just going to hit the right arrow button until I get to where it says minimum. Boom. And it's 1 comma negative 4, right? The other point I need to know, the y-intercept was 0, negative 3, right? So let's go back here. So my vertex was negative 1. Jiminy crickets. Negative, or was it negative 1? It's positive 1, negative 4, right? Positive 1, negative 4. Remember, the positive 1 is going to turn into your axis of symmetry. The negative 4 is going to be your max or min. This is a min in it. And the y-intercept was 0, comma, negative 3. So if I were to graph this, I would have 0, negative 3, 1, negative 4, and then the parabola looks something like this, doesn't it? Okay, just a rough sketch. So all you need on this is the y-intercept and the vertex, okay? To graph this with more power, you would get both of the x-intercepts. You would trace to those x-intercepts, okay? That would give you the dots to graph it. And I'm going to do the last one with you. Okay, on the last one, notice that this negative sign is going to flip. It's going to flip the parabola. This parabola is going to look like this, okay? Also notice that number right there is going to be the y-intercept. The y-intercept's got to be at negative 75. That's way down on the y-axis, isn't it? Okay, so let's go through and graph this. So I'm going to go here. I need to get rid of the graph, so delete, delete, delete. And then hit enter. Now that it is x squared, negative x squared plus 18x minus 75. So hit the tab. Negative, I need to do it again, x squared plus 18 is negative 75. Negative x squared plus 18x minus 75. Did I do it right? Plus 18x minus 75. I got it in right. Make sure it's in right. Kind of difficult for me because I can't see the paper. Hit enter. Okay, notice the parabola is way over to the right. I need to trace and get to that top point, don't I? Now then, hit menu, 5, and 1. If I do that, I'm down here, 0, negative 75 is my y-intercept in it. So I'm going to go to here. My y-intercept is 0, comma, negative 75. Now then, I need to trace way up. So y'all watch what I'm going to do. Instead of hitting the right arrow button over and over and over, I'm going to hit 5 and enter. So 5 and enter. And notice I'm at 5, comma, negative 10. Let's hit 6 and enter. 6 and enter. I'm at 6, negative 3. I'm almost to the x-axis. Let's hit 7 and enter. 7, enter. And now that I'm at 2, I can start hitting the right arrow button and get to the top now. You could have just hit that right arrow button if you want. Don't hit the up or down. Hit the left arrow button or the right arrow button. So hit the right arrow button until it says maximum. Almost there. Maximum right there. And it's at 9, comma 6 in it. So my vertex is at 9, comma 6. So I'm going to go over here. My vertex is 9, comma 6. The 9 is going to be my axis of symmetry. That's the line that splits the parabola in half. And that 6 is going to be the max or the min. And on this one, it's the max in it. So the vertex gives you your axis of symmetry and it gives you the max or min. So let's go over here. Let's graph the parabola. The y-intercept was way down here at negative 75. My vertex was at 9, comma 6. And the parabola looks something like this, doesn't it? Let me go through the vertex. Up, goes through the vertex and down, doesn't it? Very similar to that, okay? Piece of cake. The only thing we're not doing here, you may want to get these 2 points when you do this to get your zeros. Those are also very important points. Also remember your axis of symmetry would be this line right here, okay? And it would be x equal 9. It would have this number, wouldn't it? Okay? That's why your axis of symmetry has that x-ordered pair from the vertex, okay? Hope you have enjoyed this. You're going to do wonderful on your test tomorrow. Keep believing in yourself. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Remember, you are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things. And you are awesome.